I love listening to his stories about Whataburger and how he missed it when he was in Africa, and also his stories about how the McDonald Observatory was founded. And so without further ado, Dr. Strong.
I don't know if I really need this.
It's really great to get out in the community because I spend a lot of my time solo in the studio, except for my sound engineer who, I like to say, he kind of sound shops me. It makes me better. So it's great to get out and see real people with a real audience. One thing that never happens to me though, when I get out and people see me for the first time, they never come to me and say, I thought you'd be taller. So it's really fun to get out and like I said, meet people who have some appreciation for the work that I've done, which is done in isolation. So it's a beautiful connection for me. So thank you for coming. I thought I would spend some time today talking specifically about the Texan dialect and the things that make it special. When I talk about the Texan dialect, I'm talking primarily about the central traditional Texan dialect because we're a diverse state and there are many dialects. Some people say we have a difference between East and West in Texas. Studies have not been able to identify distinct differences between East and West. Sometimes there are differences in the expressions used East and West. But like I said, we have a diverse dialectal system. And for instance, a lot of people don't know this, the third most spoken language in Texas is Vietnamese. Not surprising. English, Spanish, Spanglish, and then Vietnamese. I'm sure that there's some Vietnamese person who has a Texas accent, but I wouldn't know how to identify it. So I have some slides to share with you. Here we go. I thought I would begin with just some pictures of Texas, pictures of landscapes, etc. This picture here is a photograph taken by Wyman Munzer, who is the official state photographer of Texas. I don't know if you know that Texas has an official state photographer. We don't really, but the legislature made him the official state photographer because of his 26 books on landscapes of Texas. So he's published more photographs of Texas than anybody. If you ever see the King Ranch pickup in magazines, things like that, he's the one who's taking the photographs. Ford always hires him to go to the King Ranch and take the, what I call centerfold pickup shots. And so anyway, he took this photograph, which is a fairly famous one of his, and I asked him if I could use it for the cover of the book. And he said, yes, you can use it for the cover of the book. In fact, I'm very honored, he said, that you would use it, and you can use it for all of your promotions and internet for only $1,000. Limited radio fool. So I just want to go through some landscapes of Texas. These are taken by various people, not all by Wyman Munzer, but various photographers that I run into because of my Facebook page, Stories from Texas. It has 125,000 followers, so I get lots of people sending me photographs, really, really good ones, talented photographers. I like this one because of the windmill. Who doesn't love a good windmill? Something very romantic about it. And then, of course, we have our beautiful coastline and bluebonnets galore in the hill country. The reason I'm showing you all these is because my father was an enormous cheerleader for Texas. He loved Texas. And he instilled on me and my brothers early on this enormous pride. And he would take us all around the state and show us the beautiful parts so that we could learn to love it the way he did. And he also jokes that will teach you to be proud of your heritage and where you come from and the land that you were a part of. And I'll tell you one, it's actually in the book if you haven't read it. No spoilers. I was about 10 years old when he told me this. It doesn't roll out of your chair funny, but to a 10-year-old it's great. And he said, you know, there was once this guy from Kentucky talking to a Texan, and the Kentuckian was bragging about all the gold they had up here in Fort Knox. He said, you know, we have enough gold in Fort Knox that we can build a wall of solid gold 6 foot high all the way around the state of Texas. And the Texan said, I didn't know that. That's impressive. He said, I'll tell you what, you go ahead and build your wall, and if we like it, we'll buy it. So that was my first introduction to this concept of the Texas pride joke. My father took us around the state, showed us all these beautiful parks, and that's the Queen Isabella Bridge there nearby. And one of the things he was very proud of were the farm to market roads. You know, a lot of people in Texas don't know when they're driving on FM roads that it has nothing to do with radio. They don't know it's farm to market. My father used to say, he'd say, you know, our farm to market roads are better than many countries' expressways. And it's true. Especially out in West Texas, they're just pristine. And because nobody home, that's helpful. But the FM roads were built, farm to market, and this is why they were built, the express reason, to get the farmer out of the mud. That's why they built those roads. They also have ranch market roads. In addition to the farm market, most of the ranch market are out there in West Texas. And it's interesting that they've even tried to reclassify some of these farm to market roads. They want to call them urban central roads. Like Westheimer in Houston is also an FM road. And they were going to take FM off of it, but people raised hell. He said, no, I like it as an FM road. He said, but it's not rural. I don't care, I like it. So it remains an FM road, even though it runs by the Galleria. More wildflowers. Big Ben. Sounds like a canyon. So this is what my father did. He instilled this pride, which I think finds its expression really in this book. I like somebody on Amazon said, a reviewer said it's a love letter to Texas, and it really is. And actually the book, to tell you the truth, when I published it, I thought I'd sell about 300 copies, mostly to my mother. And it just has done very well. It's been a bestseller on Amazon all summer since it came out in May. It's been a #1 bestseller in its Texas category. And I'd like to say that it's my brilliant writing, but it really is. The Texans love Texas. So they've been very supportive. So anyway, let's talk more about Texas. I want to talk about our love of our flag. We put our flag on everything. Welcome to Texas, y'all. We put our flag on barns, all sorts of barns. Big ones, little sheds out back. You know, you don't go through Kansas and see the Kansas flag on barns. Oregon is really the only state that does this in mass. You can drive through city areas in Texas and you can't go past about 3 houses without seeing the Texas star on the side of the house. That's not even, I said, Texas is a religion. People have all these artifacts of the religion that they have on display. We take it to the beach in big form and let the wave above the waves, and then we wear it to the beach. And we put it on the Kilgore Rangerettes and tattoos. You'll find it in all kinds of forms, even on an old truck that won't run anymore. Let's not let it sit out there and rust. Let's put a Texas flag on it and be proud of it, all right? Now we're going to go to the dialect. I want to talk specifically about expressions. I've written about it in the book, and you may have heard it before. I usually title this Mispronunciating Texas. There's a lot of Texans say, we're not mispronunciating, they are. We're talking straight, and they're the ones with the accent. But traditionally, in linguistics, it is considered that the Midwestern accent is the unaccented accent in Texas. It used to be in broadcasting. They always sought out people with a Midwestern accent, rather neutral. It was very, very different from Boston or California or New York or the South. And so to say that someone is variant would usually mean they vary from the Midwestern accent. So that's really what I'm talking about here, how we vary from the Midwestern accent. And here's my first one, barbed wire. It is, of course, barbed wire, but we say barbed wire. I grew up on ranches over there at South Furious, not too far from there. And I built a lot of barbed wire fences. And that's the way I heard it. All my life I heard barbed wire. Some people just said barbed wire. Barbed wire. And I heard it from cowboys who say, well, we need to go to town and get some more barbed wire. And so that's the way I heard it until I was about 18 and I saw it in print one day and I said, oh my God, I've been saying that wrong all my life. Same with the chest of drawers. And I said chest of drawers a lot too. Because my mother used to say, go put things in your chest of drawers. And again, it was about 18 when I saw it in print for the first time, and I said, oh, okay. I had that wrong. Up to that point, I didn't know who Bob was. I thought Bob was famous for wire. Bob made wire, Chester made drawers. And then we had Waterburger. A lot of people say Waterburger. And if you take it literally, it's not very appetizing. I like that Google, though. Google doesn't correct you. You put Waterburger, it doesn't auto-correct that for you. It lets it go. It's a Texas thing, we'll let it have. Probably. We don't get carried away with all the B's and probably. We say probably. You go into the dance, all right, probably so. Sometimes if you get rid of all the B's, you say probably. I reckon probably I'll be there. And here's one that a lot of people do that's just flat out wrong, is they tend to spell it wrong, in addition to saying it wrong, height. People say height. What's this height? And they're just trying to be consistent with width and breadth, so there is some linguistic logic to it, but there's no word height. And if you listen, I promise you, listen carefully, you'll hear people say height, they'll put an H on the end instead of this height. I mean, I did this myself until I was really tall. Window is window, and pillow is pillow. Get rid of that W on the end, we don't need that. Window and pillow. Put this pillow over there by the window. Wash. You gotta wash the truck. Wash it. A lot of people, it's more like, oh, wash. Wash the truck. And actually, this is probably a linguistic import. I bet you Davy Crockett brought it in from Appalachia, because that's where, even to this day, you hear a lot of people in Tennessee, Kentucky, say wash. George Washington, D.C. So in Central Texas, where all those immigrants came in 200 years ago, it's stayed. It's remained in our lexicon of pronunciations. A lot of people still say it. A lot of people don't say that. I always like to be careful because we can't. There's 25 million people in Texas. We can't say they don't talk because they don't. But it's an interesting traditional part of our dialect. Public library. You go to library. People say library. You go to the library. Texas has lots of all. Oil is all. We don't like this guy around here because he's a pre-bird. He's not a pre-bird, he's a pervert. A pre-bird would be someone learning to be a pervert. Be a pervert in training. Nuclear. Can't let the Russians get more nuclear arms than we got. As opposed to nuclear. This is some bitch. Jackie Gleason was wonderful. What was his name? But no, I'm sure. Buford T. Justice. Is that a hell of a name? And he had lots of wonderful Texanisms. He was from East Texas, chasing Burt Reynolds. My boyfriend is taking me for granted. That's granted. Of course, the expression is taken for granted, but granted is probably worse. Bloom in the fall. My brother Redneck David, he said that. He says, when you come back to the store, bring some bloom in the fall. He also says far for fire. They had a far over there. Far. A lot of times people, I grew up with it, so, I grew up talking like that myself, and I escaped it, I guess, a bit. But it's interesting to see him talk in front of others because a lot of people are looking to me for translation. What the hell did he say? I don't know. Doesn't and wouldn't. Or doesn't and wasn't, and doesn't and wouldn't. There's another one, a good example, my brother Redneck Dave the other day. I call him Redneck Dave because everybody calls him that. He likes it. It's a badge of honor to him. And he tells me all the time, I never went up there to college like you and learned all the big words, but I can kick your butt any day of the week, and that's what matters. He's a very earthy guy. But anyway, I was telling recently that someone wanted to apologize for not inviting him to the barbecue or something. He said, oh, it doesn't matter because I wasn't going to go anyway. It's a doggy-dog world out there. In place of dog-eat dog, it's a doggy-dog world. I like a doggy-dog world. It sounds like a nice place. All right, we're going to move on to plurals and possessives. These you're familiar with, I'm sure. You have, particularly y'all. One of us is you. 2 to 4 Texans is y'all. And 5 plus is all y'all. That's the ultimate plural. All y'all. I want to thank all y'all for coming today. And then if you want to make it possessive, you say y'all's. Y'all need to keep y'all's dog in y'all's yard. Y'all's. Keep y'all's dogs in y'all's yard. And then we have all y'all's. I actually heard this the other day. The lady said, I was at a barbecue, and the lady said, y'all are going to have to move all y'all's trucks so Carlos can get out. Y'all are going to have to move all y'all's trucks. And this is the king of contractions, y'all would. You all would have. Y'all would have loved it if y'all would come. Now you have to stand back and appreciate the magnificence of that word, really. It's 4 words reduced to 1. And that is what I call the soul of linguistic efficiency. It's beautiful. And here's how we use it. Y'all would love it if y'all would come. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Fix into, of course, is a national verb of Texas. It's used in other places, no doubt. It's a southernism, but probably more in Texas because there's more of us. I also like to say that if you're using y'all and fix into in the same sentence, you're most likely Texan. So there's a nice section in the book on that verb, just fix into by itself. I like to point out that the cool thing about fix into is it deals with intentionality. That's what it's about. My intention. Not what I'm going to do, but what I intend to do. Now, hold on, I'm fixing to do that. I'm fixing to get around to that by about noon today. I'm fixing to mow the yard, honey, don't worry about it. So it's about intentionality or about intending to decide. I love the expression, hold your horses, I'm fixing to decide. So it's not about getting things done, it's about preparing to else? Put two words together. And we have a lot of these. We have tumped, for instance, one of my favorite portmanteau words. Tumped. I tumped it over. I'm sorry, I tumped over your tea. I'm sorry, I tumped over your beer. It combines what two words? Don't and thought. So the two together become tumped. Hangry, of course, you know. Hungry and angry. I'm so hungry, I'm angry. Chillax, chill and relax. Texarkana, of course, is a portmanteau word. Arkansas and Texas gave us Texarkana. Spanish is full of Spanglish anyway. Then we have Texiar, Rubiar, Mandarinio, or bridging the two languages. And then Texanism is like Texpatriot is the word I use. A person who lives out of Texas against their will. That's a Texpatriot. A lot of people have sent my book to people abroad. And I like what one person wrote and said, since you can't come to Texas, I'm sending Texas to you. Very nicely said. But you know, there are people who live outside of Texas and they long to come home. They would love to come home, but their work or obligations keep them out there. I call them Texpatriots. Texcentric.
Like me, focused on Texas. And Texas. And then let's go a little bit to Spanish or big ones. These are, now my wife is from Mexico. And she was in Mexico until she was about 30 and then moved here. She loves Texas. I love Texas. She told me recently, she said, you know, I really like to have one of those shirts that says, I wasn't born in Texas, but I got it as fast as I could. She said, but I'm afraid that people would misunderstand it. In Mexico. But she's legal. Anyways, I heard a lot of Spanish from her. You know, she helped me think about these things. But I said, I'm interested if you're going to teach on words that people should know in order to get along better in a bicultural world. What words should they know that they're going to overhear a lot and would be useful to know? And I'm not going to say based on the easy words, body and all those words that are very, very common and used a great deal. Just ones to the Anglo person would be a little bit unusual perhaps. And so that's what we did in my, she helped me make this list and find it. So here's what I love about us. This is not so much a word as it is an expression. And us means name, watch out, careful. We have a 4-year-old daughter, and my wife is, you know, the exceptionally careful, always worried mom. You know, she's a prophet. She sees impending doom and everything, and that's her expression. I was, you know, the child is in any chance of having any kind of danger, she jumps at it and says, I was. And the way that this word came about is that in the old days in the cities, people would throw water out of second-story windows, and some people would literally say, I was. And they create a metaphor for danger in general. And so, but what amuses me is that she says it with the same level of fear and anxiety and worry. It's like the child is about to step on 1,000-foot cliff. Even if they're just going to get gently bumped by the refrigerator door, it's still hours. And then she also says that in the swimming pool, which is really confusing. Bacala is anything that's gross. That's disgusting. So bacala is a good word to know. Chaos is way. Way is due. Not supposed to be a translation. Due. Way is due. I got introduced to it when I first came here 30 years ago when I was teaching. And I told the students that I was going to they'd have a test on Friday night. I said, nombre way. From a professor, they say, nombre way. What the hell? And already been 2 weeks already, and way, very important way to say, dude. Calm the way. Calm down, calm down. And of course, it's the ultimate dude. The great Lebowski. Now, classic film, he is the dude. And he provides a philosophy of dudism. And so he always says, the dude abides. So this is the translation of Leonardo. The dude abides. Gets them all. Closely related to that, Molo. Molo means what you do. You gotta accept it, go along, get past it, go along. Now, not like that. Go ahead. Have a few translations. I found that when my wife asked me anything in Spanish and I don't know how to respond, I would say whatever. Or work most of the time. So there you have, I agree with you, what do they come on? Bring it on, yes, bring it up, that's amazing, I'm glad you guys talked about it. In the book I said that there's really 848 different meanings, what do they mean, depending on what you're wearing, time of day, attitude, see, you got me inside? Reading without shame. Have no shame. You see someone stuffing food into their purse at the church barbecue. See them. No shame. No hate. That's why there's attraction for no woman, no man, moment. And then this one, this is interesting because Osaka is a word that we use here back a great deal. And it's for what they call over Brownsville Lake. A guy named beautiful soccer guy. That picture is taken from my kitchen noon. That's me, right? Back when we were considering buying a house, my wife walked up to that window and said, I'll take it. She just looked at that view and she said, I'll take it. I can look at this while I cook. But Osaka, it's not so late, but it literally means leftover. This water is leftover from where the river changed course. And it's also used in a lot of these worlds of being hangover. It's not used too much around here, but Mexico City and Spain and a lot of different worlds, Osaka, I have a hangover. Very, very common expression. And it fits because Osaka is literally a hangover and a hangover is leftover from the day before. There's a little kind of connection. Around here, though, it was cool. So here's the book. This is, see, a lot of already had. Like I said, it came out in May, and it's done really well. Pleased to be invited up to the Texan Book Festival where I will speak next month. And WFA Television invited me to do an interview with them next month also. So I feel like going on in October. It's been a very interesting ride. Like I said, I am on the Texas Standard Network, which is 32 NPR stations in Texas. And no doubt that has been very helpful in publicizing the book. So it's there to other opportunities. And so I'm very grateful for the opportunity to film by virtue of the network itself. And also, I have these that are flash drives. I'll make about 100 of these. I guess we call it a limited edition. I just want to make an audio book. The audio book is available on Audible, but I want to make these a flash drive. They're out front. And the cool thing about it is it's the entire book narrated. Maybe not necessarily cool. It's narrated by me, okay? And it's 6 hours. You don't want to do it all at once. It's too much. But it's 6 hours, and it allows you to load on different things. There's no blocking on, so you can load it on different computers or car or wherever you want to put it. And so like I said, I want to make a limited number of those because I thought they look very Texas. They're leather, photo leather appearance. Those are there, and quite honestly, I only have, I think there's only 30 of them, and 100 of them made. So, thank you for coming. Thank you for your invitation. I'll answer questions if you have any questions. Yes.
I didn't find anything from Nick Boys.
Sorry, which one?
Nick Boys?
Yes. I'm doing the sequel. More stories of Texas too. And so I have several things like that I want to get into the next one. Like my brother Eddie Dave, he told me recently, he said, you know, you haven't done a very good job with that series that you got on the radio as an outsider. He said, oh, you haven't done the album. He said, that is the story of Texas. And I said, well, you know, it's been done. He said, well, it doesn't matter because he said, if I was going to get a Bible, I'd be looking for Genesis, you know. I said, like, you read the Bible. Yes, I do.
Just so you know, elementary about the age group and all that. But you also enjoy Whataburger and you enjoy Tex-Mex. So have you heard what the Mexicans call Whataburger?
No.
Okay, well. So you
I do learn what you do all the time. I always put my cards out because people send me stories. Send me, there's a lot of undiscovered history, especially now with people going through old family albums and things, and they pull out memories that their grandfather passed away. And a lot of times, a lot of our grandmothers were very modest people, and they stored away things that were magnificent, but they didn't think it was important. They didn't think it was something to brag about. So I get things from people. A guy sent me something about 3 weeks ago that were the papers of his grandfather, who was a rancher in Central Texas back in the late 1800s. He drove cattle to market, and it's an incredible collection. And so I'm going to do a story on that because he's a magnificent man with wonderful memories of the trail of the cattle, like bringing home some love in its original form, you might say. So, yes, there's a lot of good stuff that comes that way. But I didn't do the album with my brother David Parsons. He kind of pushed me into it. I said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do that's new, but so I just decided I would look at who died there. Who died there. And look at the demographics. The demographics will tell you a lot. And that's why I did that story on the album and ran last week. And actually, it got shared about 2,000 times on Facebook because right after I ran that and described the heroism at the Alamo, that issue came up. Some of you may have heard of the Texas School Board Association, basically the Textbook Association. I don't know quite who they are. They're a committee that decided what goes in the textbooks. And they wanted to take the word rolling out of the description of the defenders of the Alamo because it was a value-laden term. And I said, well, duh. Of course it's a value-laden term and appropriately laden on them. But anyway, because of the timing, it got a lot of play. So, yes, I'm always looking for new things to add to it. I've done total now about 110 of these stories, 75 in the book. And so, remember that I was saying that there's an old TV show, Dragon, that said there's a million stories in any city. I think about that. It takes 25 million stories. You're right, a long way to get it done. Other questions? Thank you for coming. My corporate science was whatever you want.